Hello, everybody. My name is Chad Husted, and I'm here to share a healthy eating plan that has forever changed the way I perceive food and understand nutrition. So, like you, I am bombarded with quote unquote advice about how to get and stay healthy, and it's overwhelming. What's right? What's true? It's hard to know. So what I've learned over the past few years is that much of what is publicized is really not very good information. At the very least, it's misguided, and it's almost always too complicated and expensive. Um, so I want to talk about 90-10 nutrition. But before we dig into what all of that means, let me share a bit of my story. So, I've always thought of myself as a pretty healthy eater. I don't have the fancy transformation story where I lost 100 pounds because I gave up junk food and just ate fruits and vegetables. I thought that, being a healthy eater was based upon my own feelings about my appearance compared to others. I've never had a weight problem per se, so I thought that I must be healthy because my weight remained stable and I really didn't get sick very often. But about 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with GERD, which is kind of an acid reflux type of issue in my guts, and it forced me to choose my foods more carefully. Particularly greasy and spicy foods upset my stomach, as well as some carbonation primarily. And so I went through a long process of trying to figure out what triggered my symptoms. And so that helped me to eat better. But nutrition became much more important when I started endurance training for triathlon back in 2009. And at this time, I was trying to figure out what kinds of drinks and snacks and fuel I could take with me while I'm on my bike or while I'm running that wouldn't make me sick. Because I learned very quickly that things like you can buy over the grocery store real easy, like Gatorade, the goo gels, protein bars and stuff, really didn't work for me very well. And they created a lot of upset stomach and performance issues that really made it difficult for me in my training. So I was kind of stuck in this mode of investigation. So I got into researching, all about calories and carbo loading, learning about healthy fats and trying all kinds of magic potions and chemical powders and the giant tubs of protein powders that you can get at Walmart for $25, and different pills and supplements. And I tried all kinds of stuff or read about them. And the same is true with special diets. For quite a while I was convinced that the blood type diet was the real thing. But my wife and I have also dabbled in the South Beach diet, and I've looked into Weight Watchers and know lots of people who have tried Weight Watchers repeatedly and failed. The same with the Atkins and Zone diet. So, do you remember when Jim Carrey played the Grinch in The Grinch That Stole Christmas? And at one point, he says about the Who's that he hates them, and he says, "Hate, hate, hate, double hate. loathe entirely. That's pretty much how I feel about all of these diets. I mean, let's be honest here. They're restrictive and complicated. There's all kinds of rules and calorie counting. They leave you starving, which leads to energy crashes and mood swings, and my guts were all upset. I was spending lots of money, and it's like a roller coaster, and it's just yuck. None of it works long term. So then fast forward to 2015, when I came across this idea about just getting back to basics and being real simple about it. What about just eating real food? It sounds way too simple, but once I dug into this, I realized that what I thought I knew about nutrition was probably wrong. And what I'm learning here basically has turned everything that I had heard upside down. And further, it's something that we can do forever. It's something that's I've been doing for a while now. It's transformed my health and my endurance training. It's simple. I can share it with my family. My guts are happy. I've got more energy, and my body composition is more lean than it has ever been. So what is 90-10 nutrition? 90-10 nutrition is very simple. Like the video said, we're always being sold the next big idea for how to be healthy, and 90-10 nutrition does not try to recreate the wheel here. It's just very simple. There's no calorie counting, there's no point system or pills or gimmicks. It's just real food. It's backed by common sense. Our bodies have always been made to eat what nature provides. So why are we always trying to complicate it with pills and potions and gimmicks? 90-10 nutrition is a lifestyle. Once we can shift our paradigm about nutrition and what healthy eating really looks like, and getting rid of all the noise out there, we can see that this is a sustainable plan. It's a lifestyle of eating healthy. 90-10 nutrition is even more than these things. It's also just a community of real people. We're not a bunch of muscle heads or some kind of a highbrow elitist group with fancy exotic and all organic vegan raw food people. We're just real regular people on a healthy living journey, and there's a support system of coaches like me who have some landing spots on the internet where you can join us to connect and get help with ideas, and talk to some nutritionists and experts to help you at any time when you're trying to eat healthy. And further, we have a whole library of amazing recipes, and we're offering healthy eating challenges of different varieties all the time to encourage people to try new things and to be accountable and encouraged by one another. And these recipes are made with just real food, and they're easy to follow, they're easy to make. Even I can make them. There's no crazy or exotic things to buy. The recipes will often come with shopping lists and meal plans for weeks or months at a time or longer, on a subscription basis through the 90-10 Nutrition program online. So there's really no guessing in what to get at the store. Alright, so there's all of this kind of support and help and information and advice about real eating, real food eating, that is super helpful and has transformed my health over the last couple of years. Stated as simply as possible, ingredients is king in 90-10 nutrition, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on here. Watch this video to give you some more detail about what 90-10 nutrition looks like.
Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Chapman and I created 90-10 Nutrition back in 2012, but there's a long story behind that and I'm going to try to make that as short as possible. I just want to give you a background on how 90-10 started and my story and how it all came about so that you can better understand how this relates to other diets that you may have heard of and how it helps to clear the confusion in the nutrition world. I know there's calorie counting and HCG and South Beach diet and Atkins diet and Jenny Craig and Nutrisystem and Weight Watchers and paleo and vegan and vegetarian and who knows what else. Some people say stay away from grains, and some people say it's all about low carb, and some people say it's all about high protein. Lots of people are saying you can't eat too many calories and fat and all this stuff, and it's just horribly confusing. And I went through this for years and years of my life until I was about 30 years old, until I discovered something about real food that really makes a difference. It's made a difference for me and literally thousands of other people now that we've brought through the 90-10 Nutrition program and shown them how a lot of what is in the diet industry these days is actually fooling you. It's actually trying to trick you and using buzzwords and things like that to make things sound healthy that are not healthy. We've gotten way too far into processed foods. We're not eating things like they are meant to be, like things were on the earth 1,000 years ago, and it makes a huge difference to your body, okay? So I kind of grew up the fat kid that was always on a diet. I did the calorie counting thing. I did Slim Fast. I did a whole bunch of different diet plans, but mostly calorie counting. That's how I lost weight, and I would lose 30 pounds. I would gain 30 pounds. I would lose 20 pounds. I would gain 30 pounds, and I would go up and down and up and down. The diet roller coaster. I'm sure many of you have been or are currently on the diet roller coaster up and down. And the idea of it is I have to eat less so I can lose weight. But then once I lose some weight, then I stop eating less and I start eating like I used to, and then I gain weight back. And then I have to go back on the diet and I have to eat less. And I hate it, and I go to bed hungry, and I can't eat this, and I can't eat that, and I can't eat that, and I can't eat that. And it's just, it's horrible, right? Like, that's how I grew up. Let me share my screen with you. I'll show you some of the things. Let's see if I can find the right one here. Yeah, so, I started not at the beginning of the slideshow, but that's okay. So this is me in Little League. You can see I was an overweight kid. I was shopping in the Husky section. I was doing diets when I was that young, 8, 9, 10 years old, to try to lose weight, not because my parents were forcing me to do it, because I wanted to lose some weight. Here's me about 14 years old. Who knows how many diets I'd been on at that point. Here's me graduating from college, drinking Mountain Dew, eating pizza, beer, whatever, 260 pounds. I gained another 15 pounds after I left college. And then I got into a weight loss contest with a buddy of mine. And the only thing that I had known for all my life was if you want to lose weight, you count calories. So I went on a 1,500 calorie diet all the way up until my wedding, narrowly lost the challenge to my buddy, but did lose about 60 pounds. And I got down just below 200 pounds. Here's me at my wedding. I did it all by a 1,500 calorie diet. It took me months, 6 months or so to lose the first 50 or 60, another 6 months to lose another, till I had lost a total of 100 pounds. This is kind of a before and after picture of that. So this is nearly 100 pounds in this picture, all done by 1,500 calorie diet. And I hated it. It worked, obviously. I was working out 90 minutes a day, and I was going to bed hungry every night. And I thought, I was eating M&Ms, drinking Diet Mountain Dew, eating lean cuisines for lunch at work and things like that. And I just figured, well, if you're going to lose weight, you're going to go to bed hungry. That's just the way it is. You're going to eat less. And I was eating processed food, right? So, and this is a picture of me and my dad. My dad did some of this with me just to give you an idea of the change that happened, right? Well, then there was a turning point in 2010. I was trying to do triathlons. I was getting, more and more healthy, trying to do endurance racing and all this stuff. And I had lost so much weight. But I had this problem. The only way I knew how to lose weight was to eat less. and you can't eat less when you're endurance training. And so I had this conflict, like I couldn't eat more. I was eating all this processed food, but I needed to lose a few more pounds, and I wanted to perform well in my endurance training and all this stuff. And someone said to me, it was actually a post on Facebook that said, why don't you try counting your ingredients instead of counting your calories? And I was very skeptical about this idea. Count your ingredients instead of counting your calories. I mean, it's all about calories in versus calories out, right? Like if you burn more calories than you put in, then that's just how weight loss works. And in general, it's how weight loss works, but it's not how your body performs best. And your body can shed weight even when you're not putting it at a huge deficit if you put the right foods in your body. And this was the idea of it. I was skeptical though, but let me show you what they showed me that made me give it a try. Okay, so they said, let's try this. Start your day like a normal American would start a diet. Kellogg's Smart Start cereal for breakfast, Wheat Thins for a snack, and a lean cuisine for lunch. This is literally what I was doing for my diets when I was on a 1,500 calorie diet. They said, take a look at this. This is the ingredients list for those 3 items. There's like 130 plus ingredients in those 3 items. And you've got things like maltodextrin and partially hydrogenated soybean oil and dehydrated flavors and modified cornstarch and who knows what else in here that you don't even actually know what it is. Polydextrose. Does anybody know what polydextrose is? 130 plus ingredients. They said that's just for those 3 items. They said, now watch this. Let's take some oatmeal, some honey, and replace that breakfast cereal with that. Let's take blueberries or some other fruit and replace the Wheat Thins with that. And then let's take chicken, green beans, brown rice, and even a little butter for your brown rice and green beans and replace the lean cuisine with that meal. Now look what we have. On the left, the processed three items, 610 calories, 11 grams, 109 grams, 22 grams, 130 ingredients. On the right side, real food, not processed, not packaged, not boxed food. You can get the same calories, fat, carbs, and protein out of 7 ingredients. And they said, do this, not the other thing. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. So in the summer of 2010, I did that for 45 days. I just tried to lower my ingredients and not my calories. My average intake went up by 800 calories naturally. My fat intake went up by a whole bunch, and I still lost 15 pounds. So I could eat 800 calories more, lose 15 pounds in just a month and a half. My fat intake went up by a lot. Like I was trying to hold it at like 20% of calories, and it went up to like 35 or 40% of my calories, and I still lost weight. And I wasn't trying to count protein, carbs, none of that kind of stuff, right? And so this changed my life, and it's what helped me create the 90-10 nutrition program, where we look at ingredients instead of calories, fat, carbs, and protein, right? Okay, so let's just let me prove this to you a little bit more, okay? Here's Jif Creamy Peanut Butter. Got the nutrition facts over here. 3 grams of sugar, 7 grams of protein, 190 calories. Look at the ingredients. Peanuts, sugar, molasses, hydrogenated vegetable oils, mono and diglycerides, right? Now look at Adam's Natural Peanut Butter. Over here, almost the same calories, almost the same protein, actually a little more protein, less sugar grams, and look at the ingredients. Peanuts, basically. Peanuts plus salt, right? So you can't look at the protein and carbs and all that stuff to tell whether it's healthy or not, because the other one's got sugar and molasses and hydrogenated junk in it, but the calories and carbs and protein and even the sugar grams are pretty close to the same. Now think about this. Sugar grams, 1 gram in this, 3 grams back here in the Jif, right? Now take a look at an apple. If we went by the nutrition facts label where the carbs and the proteins and the sugar grams are, if you take a look at an apple, there's 13 grams of sugar on the nutrition facts label. If you just went by the nutrition facts label, you would have to say that the Jif Creamy Peanut Butter with 8 grams of protein and only 3 grams of sugar is healthier for you than an apple, which has 13 grams of sugar and 0 grams of protein. Now, does that make any sense at all? Would anybody say that Jif peanut butter with molasses and sugar and hydrogenated oils, which is basically trans fat in it, would be healthier than an apple, than a natural piece of fruit? I don't think normal people would, but that's what we've done by concentrating on protein and carbs and fat and calories instead of what's in our food and eating real food. And that's what the 90-10 nutrition program is about. And there's more to explain about all the details in the 90-10 nutrition program, but that's how it came about. And I hope that helps you understand it a little bit And I'd love to see you with us in 9010 Nutrition to learn about real eating, clean eating, real food that was on the earth 1,000 years ago.
Wow. There you go. Ryan breaks it down very well for us and challenges the notion that, you know, what we have been taught for years and years is really kind of misleading. And so you might have to think about that for a little bit, but let's move on to an exercise that I want us to go through that compares 9010 Nutrition to some popular diet programs, if you will, paleo and vegan. So hang with me here for a second. I want you to answer for yourself a couple of questions. What does the paleo diet allow that the vegan diet doesn't? Okay, that's represented in the circle on the left. You know, paleo is basically, you know, the hunter and gatherer, you know, ancient type of diet. So whatever you could find or whatever you could hunt is what you ate. All right, there was no agriculture. So meat and honey and eggs and all other kinds of animal stuff are all things that the paleo diet would allow that the vegan diet would not, because of course vegan is plants only. So then we ask, well, what does the vegan allow that the paleo diet does not? And here is where we get into the agricultural products. So you've got your different kinds of grains and potatoes, beans, peanuts and things like this that are, you know, farmed, which didn't necessarily exist back in, you know, ancient times where people didn't really understand agriculture. It was just, you know, hunting and gathering. At least that's how the story goes. Okay, and so what 9010 Nutrition does is says, okay, those two kind of extreme restrictive diets are just that. They're restrictive. There's a bunch of rules. You know, how do you know if this qualifies as paleo or not? You know, you've got to look everything up, and it's confusing. And vegan, of course, is extraordinarily restrictive in that it's only plants. 9010 Nutrition says let's combine those with the healthy things that vegans and paleo people can agree on, which are, you know, the vegetables that and nuts, seeds, oils, and fruits that are real food. All right, so 9010 Nutrition incorporates all of these things, and it's not restrictive at all. So we're basically saying that foods that you can identify are good. Balance is best. You don't want to eat only meat, honey, and eggs, nor do you only want to eat, you know, grains and peanuts and beans, or only fruits or only vegetables. We're saying balance is best. Take into account all of these things, and in moderation, of course. All right, so that's where 9010 comes from. So we've got these three tiers that describe 9010, and these might be a little bit difficult to see, but if you ask me, I can send you the PDFs of each of these pages so that you can know what foods fall on each of the tiers. But if you think of it as like a traffic light, the green tier is where you want to have 90% of your food to come from. And so you can see that these are all the, you know, the healthy veggies and fruits. You've got your lean proteins in here that include things like eggs and chicken and fish, and you've got healthy fats in here. You got avocado, you got nuts and coconut oil and olive oil, grains and fruits. So all those kind of things are your green tier, where you want to take 90% of your food from. The yellow tier, or the caution light on your traffic light, is where the other 10% ought to come from. Or shall I say can come from. Certainly you can eat 100% from the green tier, but the idea is you don't want to eat more than 10% from the yellow tier, and that includes some of your proteins that are not quite as lean, including some hams and certain cuts of pork and beef and bacon. So hey, look, you can have bacon, but just not as a main part of your diet. Some of your carbohydrate selections here include honey and beer and potatoes, maple syrup. Some of your sweeteners are in here. These are all okay to eat, and same with the fats. You can even have a little bit of mayonnaise and butter. These are not entirely evil. You just don't want to base your diet upon them, but certainly you can include them in the 90-10 nutrition program. And then of course the red tier is the stoplight. This is, don't eat from here as much as you can help it. So the obvious things in here are candies and cake and pastries and things that we know really aren't good for us. But I want to highlight a couple of things that you might be surprised about. One of them is cereal, and this says sugared in parentheses. But if you look at virtually any cereal that you can buy at the store, and if you read the ingredients label, you will see that there are all kinds of sugars included in it. And sugar is not the only thing that's evil in terms of sabotaging our healthy eating, but all kinds of other chemicals and artificial things are found in our breakfast cereals, and that's why breakfast cereal falls on the red tier. Another one is energy drinks. So often we are feeding ourselves and especially our kids, unfortunately, with things like Gatorade and Powerade and these kind of things for school lunches, or we bring them ourselves because we think it's a healthy alternative. And again, these are filled with chemicals and sugars and sweeteners and artificial things that are not healthy for us, and they're not contributing to our weight loss goals or maintaining sugar levels and energy levels according to what we eat. Energy drinks are really not helpful for that. Now, they do have their place when we're doing endurance training and a high intensity exercise for a longer period of time. These energy drinks do have their place, but as part of a regular, what you eat every day type of a thing, this is not something you want to make a habit. We all know high fructose corn syrup is not good. There's highly processed meats. They're cured with chemicals and preservatives, so you want to avoid hot dogs and certain sausages and brats and those kind of things. You got to just be careful about what the ingredients are. Further down the list here, soft drinks. We know that even diet soft drinks can be worse than the regular variety of them. But either way, diet soft drinks or regular soft drinks, just avoid them. In fact, if that's something that you are accustomed to, and if you could just get rid of that and replace it with something more wholesome like water or milk, you would get yourself way ahead just from that one simple change. All right. So just a few things there. Maltodextrin and any of your sugar alcohols. So if you're reading ingredients labels and anything that ends in TOL, you'll know that this is not something that is going to be a healthy alternative for you. All right. I hope that makes sense. So let me just go through pretty quickly here, if I can, some tips and lessons learned from my experience in eating 90-10 nutrition. First of all, I'm just going to implore you to just get on board with the program and trust it. Trust the system. This is how you were made to eat, just eating real food. All right? It's a process. I said just a minute ago to take it one step at a time. Just like my good friend Bob Wiley, he takes baby steps, right, to his healing and his recovery, and it works for him. And I think the same applies here. Don't just give up everything and start eating rabbit food. That's not going to work for you. Take one thing. If it's soda, get rid of soda. Replace it with something else. If it's potato chips, then get rid of that. Do one thing at a time. Or even if you can't give up those things, just add in something else, and you'll find that you won't be hungry as much, and you won't crave these things, and it will just help you along your journey, just to add in an apple every day. Find a place to start. Trust the process. Take baby steps. Okay? This is not a get thin quick program. Let me tell you that you will feel better before you lose weight. And even if you don't need to lose weight, you won't. Your body knows best. It will manage that for you. So again, just recognize that this is how the system works. It's going to take a little bit of time. The feeling better part is extraordinary. You will be surprised at how much better you feel when you eat real food in place of some of the chemical filled and artificially flavored and processed foods that you're accustomed to. So think about what you eat today or for your next meal, and recognize that you're on a journey where a series of good choices built up over time is going to create the healthy living results that you are looking for. All right, next is listen to your body. Ask yourself some questions. Am I really hungry? Maybe you should drink water first. That often cures my grumpy mood or even a headache, is just to have some water. Maybe your body's trying to tell you you're dehydrated. And let me tell you something about water. Water is definitely your friend, and I don't want you to get hung up on how much water you should drink, because too much water is just as bad as not having enough. So how I do it, how I know if I'm hydrated enough, is I look at the color of my pee. All right? So if your pee is clear, then you're in good shape. If it's the darker the color, then the more dehydrated you are. So that's your indicator of your hydration level, and it works pretty good. Craving is your body's way to tell you that you are nutrient deficient, not chips and chocolate deficient. So think about what you ate already. Fill in your nutritional gaps. Your body is trying to tell you that something is missing. That's where craving comes from. So I solve this problem with Shakeology, which is my go-to superfood shake that I have for breakfast every day, and it's delicious and amazing, and I can tell you more about that separately, but that's what I have to fill in my nutritional gaps. It ensures that I get all the nutrients that my body needs every day, and it helps me to not crave, keeps me full, and gives me balanced energy. It really works well. Balance is best. I said this before. You give your body what it needs and you won't crave. I'm really bad at this, but eating slower is going to help. You will your body will help you to eat less when you eat slower. Finally here, the packaging on the products that we buy at the store is meant to entice you. That's what marketing is. And the rules for packaging are pretty vague, and sometimes we can cry that it's false advertising, and maybe it is, but we have to educate ourselves. And so just know that the way the food is packaged is not necessarily reliable. It's all about the ingredients. Don't pay so much attention to the nutrition facts, as Ryan talked about in the video, but look at the ingredients and make sure that you're dealing with real food ingredients. So I love this one. If you can't find the ingredient in the store on its own, then you shouldn't eat it. So if you look at Pop-Tarts, and if you read the ingredients list on a box of Pop-Tarts, you're going to find all these 14-letter words that you can't pronounce or understand what they are. And I can promise you that you will not find those 14-letter ingredients in the store by itself. That's your indication that it's a chemical, that it's some kind of a processed additive or something that is not real food, and therefore you shouldn't eat it. This is a really tough one, but it's kind of where the rubber meets the road. If you clean out the junk food that's in your house, you're not likely to eat it. This is very true at my house, or when I go somewhere else. If I go up to virtually anywhere else and there's food out, there's cookies out or whatever, I'm pretty likely to eat them. But at my own house, if I don't have the cookies there, then I'm not going to eat cookies. I'll find something else to eat. So it's really important to clean out your cabinets and your pantries and replace it with real food. Do meal planning. My wife is getting really good at this. Planning ahead what you're going to eat and then shopping for those foods goes a long ways, not only for your budget to make sure that you're being mindful of your spending with food, but so that you already know what you're going to make and what you're going to eat. It's actually a very efficient way to deal with your food. Join the community. I fully believe that your success along your healthy living journey increases when you have the encouragement and accountability of other people who are doing the same thing. So 9010 Nutrition has a website where you can join a community online there and through Facebook and other social media outlets where you can connect with people on a regular basis and get the kind of encouragement and accountability that will help you to succeed. Here's a graphic that just tells us that we're basically making ourselves sick by what we eat. So I think the reverse is also true. We can make ourselves well by what we eat, and it starts with eating real food. Know your why. This is such a big deal to me. You've got to have a personal, compelling reason or reasons why you want to eat healthy or why you want to be a healthy person. If it's not something you can emotionally connect with personally, it's not going to compel you to make the tough choice when you've got apple pie next to a basket of apples. Which one are you going to choose? That's when you think about, why am I really doing this? Why is this important to me? And the reasons are personal and varied, and I would love to help you discover your why, if that sounds difficult or complicated to you. But you've got to come up with the reasons why this is important to you, so that you can draw upon it when times get tough and the choices are difficult. All right, so this is the advertisement. All right, so 9010nutrition.com is where you can find all the details. There's membership options there to get connected with coaches and personal support, meal planning, and recipes, and all kinds of tips and advice and videos and webinars and things that you can join to show you how to cook clean and how to make foods and meal plan and store frozen foods and all kinds of stuff. So great affordable options there. You can also find great information on social media through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. There's an awesome Pinterest page of 9010 Nutrition with recipes galore and videos on YouTube. You can also find me on social media. I'm always sharing things about healthy eating and kind of the mindset that's important to change the way you think about food and your body and healthy living and what it looks like and what it means for you. I've got a Facebook page and I'm on Instagram as well. I'd love to connect with you there. I think finally here, this is just kind of a fun thing to test what you think you know about what clean eating is. So cleaneatingiq.com, there's a little interactive quiz there that will kind of help you along your journey to educating yourself as to what healthy eating really looks like.